Ben Sidran, el concierto para García Lorca. En 1998 se cumplían 100 años del nacimiento de Federico García Lorca. Su sobrina, Laura García Lorca, invitó entonces al pianista, cantante y escritor estadounidense Ben Sidran a sumarse al homenaje y tocar en el mismo piano que los falangistas desmontaron por sospechar que el poeta de Fuente Vaqueros escondía allí una radio con la que se comunicaba clandestinamente con los comunistas rusos. Se equivocaban. Con quien se comunicaba era con los cubanos, con los norteamericanos, con los franceses, los ingleses, japoneses, chinos y gentes de todo el mundo. Y no necesitaba un transmisor para ello. Tenía su arte. Estamos oyendo el tema de presentación al derrotar a la muerte, compuesto y escrito por Sidran, que lo interpreta junto a Bobby Martínez en saxo, Leo Sidran en batería y el contrabajo de Manuel Calleja, y donde también incorpora el poema para Ignacio Sánchez Mejía de Lorca.
And you know, they took this piano, they tore off its legs, they tore off its arms, they tried to pluck out its eyes, but you see, this piano still sings. They were searching for a radio transmitter that they thought he had hidden inside this piano. It's true. This piano. They thought he was using it to communicate with the communists in Russia. They were so stupid. He was not communicating with the Russians. He was communicating with the Cubans, with the Americans, with the French, with the British, with the Japanese, with the Chinese, with people all over the world. And he did not need a radio transmitter. He had his art. A few days later, they took him to an olive grove near Fuente Grande. The Arabs call it the Fountain of Tears. They built an aqueduct to carry the water down here to Granada. Right here. To esta casa ante sus ojos. Nearby this pool, this fountain of tears, he was assassinated just before sunrise, 62 years ago. He was left there in a shallow grave, and he returned to the earth and to the water. The water he loved, the water he feared. Agua que no desemboca. He left life as he lived life on the rim of the well. It was on the rim of the well where he battled hand to hand with the duende. The duende, as he wrote in his great essay, the duende which only appears when there is the possibility of death. He said he fought a duel to the death with his heart, to free it from the impossible passion which destroys, and to construct the truly alive, wide-awake poem, where beauty and horror, the ineffable and the repugnant, exist side by side. The duende, he said, squeezes the lemons of death. That's beautiful. The lemons of death. I once asked Miles Davis about the pretty notes he played. Miles Davis said, "It's just like putting lemon on fish." Pretty notes. It's like putting lemon on fish. The duende, of course, is at its most impressive in the bull ring. Lorca said, "The torero bitten by the duende gives a lesson in Pythagorean music," and he also said that the death of his friend, the torero Ignacio Sanchez, was an apprenticeship for his own death. And it was. Garcia Lorca, too, was killed by the bull. By the bull of ignorance, the bull of intolerance, the bull of ambition, the great bull that stalked this place 62 years ago. Like Ignacio, he was gored by the bull, even while his friends begged him to leave the corrida. Lorca said, "A dead man in Spain is more alive as a dead man than any place else in the world." And it's true. In Spain, one is not truly living unless one is truly dying. It's part of what that great philosopher Miguel de Unamuno called the tragic sense of life. You know this. Unamuno wrote, "To act in such a way as to make our annihilation an injustice, in such a way as to make our brothers, our sons, and our brothers' sons, and their daughters feel that we ought not to have died. This is the way. To perform our occupation passionately, tragically, if you like. This is the way. We are impelled to stamp others with our seal, to perpetuate ourselves in them and in their children. This is the way. This is the way we defeat death. This is the way death is defeated." They say that in this piano, the spirit of Federico Garcia Lorca lives. We say he never died. The bull does not know you, nor the fig tree, nor the horses, nor the ants in your own house. The child in the afternoon do not know you. Porque te has muerto para siempre. The back of the stone does not know you, nor the silent black satin in which you crumble. Your silent memory does not know you. Porque te has muerto para siempre. Porque te has muerto para siempre, like all the dead of the earth, like all the dead who are forgotten in a heap of lifeless dogs. Nobody knows you know, but I will call your name. For posterity I sing of your profile and your grace. Porque te has muerto para siempre. of the earth like all the dead who are forgotten in a heap of lifeless darkness. Tardará mucho tiempo en nacerse es que nace un andaluz tan claro, tan rico de aventura. Yo canto su elegancia con palabras que gimen y recuerdo una brisa triste por los olivos. Porque te has muerto para siempre.
Y ahora un homenaje a Poeta en Nueva York. El texto, Conmoción Sentimental, Sentimental Shock, y la Freedom Jazz Band.
Every period has its own time. It's a groove. It's a feeling. This is today's feeling. But it's not very different from the feeling in 1929. In 1929, they were doing something called the Charleston. You all know the Charleston was pretty much what we're doing today. In 1929, Lorca went to New York City, up at Small's Paradise in Harlem. He heard the blues on every street corner. Every street corner was jumping from noon till noon. You know, he went to New York on the sister ship of the SS Titanic. It's true. Sailed right past the Queen of the Harbor with her sword of light shining bright into the roaring jungle of the New York night. New York, New York, land of the deal, land of the future, land of the free. Free in New York City, because whatever you want, there it is. Whatever you need, it's a done deed. You think it's nice? Try it twice. The Jazz Age, they called it. We're still trying to recover from it. Wired angels, curved bridges. 1929. Just like Dali said in his Catalan manifesto, it's a new era of machines and possibilities, movies, and he said, no more nostalgia. Looking through the eyes of Picasso, Miro, Stravinsky, Cocteau. Got to New York City where we heard a little tune. Shock, a sentimental shock. The King of Harlem played it on the wooden spoon. Shock, a sentimental shock. The solar light was shining bright. The stock exchange feels strange. The city's just a lonely mouse howling at the moon. Shock, sentimental shock. sentimental shock. The moon is just a slice of radiance, divine shock. Sentimental shock. The solar light will shine the brightest light, the change people strange, so it's just a moment pause. Power and the shock. Sentimental shock. Thank you. Sentimental shock. Bobby. Is finally cracking and the boys are feeling fine. Shock, sentimental shock. The moon is just a slice of radiance, divine shock. Sentimental shock. The solar light will shine the brightest light, the change people strange, so it's just a moment pause. Power and the shock. Sentimental shock. Do it again.
Abrir la puerta de la huerta de San Vicente, colocar el piano de Federico García Lorca bajo el nogal de su casa, son gestos fáciles. Cabe la tentación de pensar que son los objetos mismos los que demandan nuestra atención. Quizás también, pero hay una voz o una música mucho más clara y está en las páginas de unos cuantos libros. Cuando Ben Sidran se sienta a tocar el piano en la huerta, encuentra la poesía de Lorca porque la conoce, como conoce la poesía del jazz, su propio lenguaje. conoce la raíz amarga, la raíz universal que está en ese piano que aún canta. Son palabras estas de Laura García Lorca que utilizamos para despedir The Concert for García Lorca de Ben Sidran con el tema Sobre el Duende.
Whoever finds himself stretched out on that bull's hide between the Júcar and the Guadalfeo, the Seal and Pisuerga rivers, they often hear people say, "Man, that has a lot of duende." All over Andalusia, from the rock of Jaén to the world shell of Cádiz, people are talking about the duende. And they can spot it a mile off, and they know the minute it shows its face. Manuel Torre, who had more culture in the blood than any man who ever walked on the mud, he pronounced this sacred sentence. He said, "Anything that has black sounds has duende." And that's the double truth, Ruth. Pena negra, black sounds. This is the mystery. The root fastened in the mire that we all know and we all ignore. The fertile soil that gives us the very substance of art. Black sounds. Black sounds, said that man of the Spanish people, a mysterious power which everyone senses and no philosopher explains. The duende then is a power, it's not a work. It's a struggle, it's not a thought. Or as that great saxophone player Cannonball Adderley said, he said, "Hypnosis is not a state of mind, it's a fact of life." I heard an old guitar maestro say the duende is not in the throat. The duende climbs up inside of you from the soles of your feet. Meaning this, it's not a question of talent. No, baby. Anybody can have talent. Talent is a dime a dozen. No, it's a matter of true living style. It's in the blood. It's the most ancient thing on earth. It is spontaneous creation, life itself. Yes, this mysterious power which everyone senses and no one explains is in some the spirit of Mother Earth. Every artist and every man, whether Nietzsche or Cézanne, climbs each step in the tower of his perfection by dueling with his duende. Not his angel, not his muse. This is fundamental, at the very root of the thing. Yes, your angel will guide you, dazzle you. She'll fly high over your head. A little grace she may shed. Sometimes the muse will whisper in your ear. Muse will give you a little wake-up call. But this intelligence is the enemy of your poetry, because it limits your mind too much. And it raises you to a sharp-edged throne where you might forget that ants could eat you, or that a great arsenic lobster might just suddenly fall on your head. You dig? The muse and the angel come from time to time to pay a visit. But one must awaken the duende in the remotest mansions of the blood, in the darkest back room of your own private stock. The true fight is with the duende. The real work is with the duende. know the roads where we can search for God, but there are no maps and there are no tricks to help us find the duende. We only know that he burns like a drink of broken glass, and he will wear you out. He will wear you out. He will wear you out. He will reject all the sweet geometry you have learned, and he will smash your style. And in the end, he will lean on your pain with no consolation. You see, the duende loves the rim of the wound. And in the healing of that wound, which never does close, lie the strange handmade moments of your life's work. The duende, it perches near places where forms fuse together. And he never repeats himself. This is interesting. The duende does not repeat himself, not any more than does the sea during a squall. Each art has a duende different in form and style, but the roots meet in the place where the black sounds of Manuel Torre come from. The essential, uncontrollable quivering, common denominator of wood, sound, canvas, and word. Beyond those black sounds, tenderly and intimately, live zephyrs, ants, volcanoes, and the huge night straining its stomach against the Milky Way. Where is this duende? Through the empty arch comes a wind, a mental wind, blowing relentlessly over the heads of the dead in search of new landscapes, unknown accents, a wind that smells of baby's spittle, crushed grass, jellyfish veil, announcing the constant baptism of newly created things. Cruel beauty, ugly beauty, searing